Paris, 1881. The city pulses with life, its cobblestone streets alive with the clatter of horse-drawn carriages and the chatter of dreamers. Gaslights flicker, casting a warm golden glow over the grand boulevards, but something new is stirring in the air, a force both mysterious and thrilling: electricity. In a modest workshop tucked away in the Latin Quarter, a man named Gustave Trouvé hunches over a cluttered desk, his hands stained with ink and his mind ablaze with ideas. Who was this quiet genius, and what drove him to create a device that would dazzle the world? Why, despite his brilliance, did his name slip into the shadows of history? Gustave Trouvé was born in 1839 in La Haye-Descartes, a small town far from the glittering lights of Paris. From a young age, he was captivated by the mechanics of the world around him. Clocks, telegraphs, anything that ticked or hummed. Unlike the celebrated inventors of his time, like Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla, Trouvé grew up without wealth or fame to propel him. His father, a modest tradesman, could offer little beyond encouragement, but that was enough. By his teens, Trouvé was already tinkering with electrical circuits, teaching himself the secrets of a force most people barely understood. Electricity in the 1850s was a curiosity, a parlor trick for scientists and showmen. But for Trouvé, it was a canvas for creation. By 1865, at the age of 26, Trouvé had moved to Paris, the beating heart of art, culture, and innovation. The city was a crucible of ideas, where poets rubbed shoulders with engineers and dreamers dared to reshape the world. The International Electrical Exhibition of 1881 was the spark that ignited Trouvé's imagination. Held at the Palais de l'Industrie, the exhibition was a dazzling showcase of electrical wonders, arc lamps that blazed like miniature suns, telegraphs that whispered messages across continents, and early dynamos that promised to power the future. For Trouvé, it was a call to action. He saw electricity not just as a tool for industry, but as a medium for beauty, a way to blend science with the elegance of Parisian life. The idea for the electric jewelry lamp was born in this heady atmosphere. Trouvé envisioned a device that could adorn the body like a precious gem, glowing with a light that seemed almost magical. In an era when women's fashion was a spectacle of silk, lace, and jewels, he dared to add a new element: electricity. His creation was a tiny incandescent lamp, no larger than a pearl, powered by a compact battery that could be hidden in a pocket or sewn into a dress. When debuted at the Paris Opera in 1883, the electric jewelry lamp was a sensation. Ballerinas adorned with these glowing ornaments moved like living constellations, their every step illuminated by Trouvé's genius. The audience, accustomed to the dim flicker of gaslights, was spellbound. This wasn't just an invention, it was a revolution, a moment when science and art became one. But why jewelry? Why not focus on something practical, like a better telegraph or a stronger motor? As a scientist with 15 years of experience, I can tell you that true innovators see possibilities where others see limits. Trouvé understood the power of spectacle. Paris was a city of showmanship, where beauty and innovation were celebrated in equal measure. His electric jewelry lamp wasn't just a technical achievement. It was a statement about the future, a vision of a world where technology could enhance human expression. It was a bold, audacious idea, one that would light up the stage and, for a fleeting moment, the world. Let's take a moment to marvel at the sheer ingenuity of Trouvé's electric jewelry lamp. In the 1880s, electricity was a beast, wild, unwieldy, and confined to bulky machines that hummed in factories or laboratories. Yet Trouvé tamed it, shrinking it down to fit in the palm of a hand, delicate enough to adorn a dancer's costume. How did he pull off such a feat? As a scientist, I'm fascinated by the mechanics of his creation, and I'll walk you through it with the clarity of the light it produced. At the heart of the electric jewelry lamp was a miniature incandescent bulb, a marvel of precision engineering. Unlike the gas lamps that dominated the era, prone to flickering and dangerous fumes, Trouvé's bulb used a thin filament, often made of carbonized bamboo or platinum, heated by an electric current to produce a steady, radiant glow. This was no small achievement. Incandescent bulbs were still in their infancy, with Thomas Edison's version only patented a few years earlier in 1879. Trouvé's challenge was to make these bulbs small enough to be worn as jewelry without sacrificing brightness or reliability. The power source was equally ingenious. Trouvé designed compact zinc-carbon batteries, lightweight enough to be concealed in a pocket or sewn into clothing. These batteries were a triumph of chemistry and engineering. Zinc and carbon electrodes, immersed in an electrolyte solution, generated a steady current that could sustain the lamp for hours. But the real challenge was size. In an era when batteries were often the size of a bread box, Trouvés were no larger than a small book, a feat that required meticulous experimentation with electrode materials and chemical compositions. He tested countless configurations, balancing power output with portability, until he achieved a design that was both practical and elegant. The wiring was another hurdle. To connect the battery to the bulb, Trouvé used fine, insulated copper wires, carefully threaded through clothing to remain invisible. The entire system had to be safe. Electricity was still a mysterious force, and the idea of wearing it on the body was radical. Trouvé's solution was to encase the bulb in a decorative housing, often crafted from gold, silver, or enamel, shaped like flowers, stars, or teardrops. These housings not only protected the bulb, but also amplified its beauty, turning a technical device into a work of art. When the electric jewelry lamp debuted at the Paris Opera, it was a technological and aesthetic triumph. Ballerinas wore the lamps as hairpins, pendants, or brooches. Their costumes transformed into shimmering displays of light. The lamps were synchronized with the music, their glow pulsing in time with the orchestra, creating a visual symphony that left audiences breathless. As a scientist, I can't help but admire Trouvé's ability to blend precision with poetry. He didn't just create a device, he crafted an experience, one that bridged the gap between the laboratory and the stage. Close your eyes and transport yourself to the Paris Opera, 1883. The air is thick with anticipation, the scent of perfume mingling with the buzz of excitement. The lights dim and the curtain rises. Suddenly, ballerinas glide onto the stage, their costumes aglow with tiny radiant lights. These aren't sequins or jewels catching the gaslight. They're Gustave Trouvé's electric jewelry lamps, casting an ethereal glow that seems to defy reality. The audience gasps, their whispers rippling through the theater. This is no ordinary performance, it's a glimpse into a dazzling, electrified future. The electric jewelry lamp was more than a gadget. It was a cultural earthquake. Paris in the Belle Époque was a city obsessed with spectacle, where fashion, art, and innovation collided in a whirlwind of creativity. Trouvé's invention captured this spirit perfectly. It wasn't just about light, it was about transformation. Women of high society, from aristocrats to actresses, clamored for their own electric jewelry, eager to shine at balls, salons, and soirees. A glowing hairpin or pendant became a status MacBook Pro local symbol, a way to flaunt both wealth and a connection to the cutting edge of progress. Imagine the thrill of walking into a room, your jewelry casting a soft, radiant light, drawing every eye. It was power, beauty, and technology in one breathtaking package. The lamps also revolutionized the performing arts. Before Trouvé, stage lighting relied on gas lamps or limelights, which were heavy, hot, and limited in scope. Directors had to choreograph performances around fixed light sources, constraining their creativity. Trouvé's lamps changed that. By attaching lights directly to the performers, he gave directors unprecedented freedom. Ballerinas could move fluidly, their glowing ornaments accentuating every gesture. The effect was mesmerizing, a dance of light and motion that felt like magic. One critic wrote, "The stage seemed alive with stars, each dancer a constellation of light, capturing the emotional impact of the moment." But the lamp's influence went beyond the stage. They sparked a broader fascination with electricity as a tool for self-expression. Fashion designers began experimenting with illuminated fabrics, and jewelers explored new ways to incorporate light into their creations. The electric jewelry lamp became a symbol of the Belle Époque's optimism, a belief that technology could elevate every aspect of life, from industry to art. As a scientist, I'm struck by how Trouvé's invention resonated with the dreams of his era. It wasn't just about illuminating bodies, it was about illuminating possibilities. Who was Gustave Trouvé, the man who brought light to the world of fashion? As a scientist, I've learned that every invention is a story of human struggle, passion, and sacrifice. Trouvé's life was no exception. Born into a modest family in rural France, he lacked the resources and connections of his more famous peers. Yet his mind was a furnace of ideas, burning with a relentless drive to create. By the time he unveiled the electric jewelry lamp, he was already a prolific inventor, with dozens of patents to his name. So why isn't he celebrated alongside Edison or Tesla? Trouvé's story begins in La Haye des Cartes, where he grew up surrounded by the rhythms of small-town life. As a boy, he dismantled clocks and toys, eager to understand how things worked. His curiosity led him to Paris, where he trained as a clockmaker before diving into the world of electricity. By the 1870s, his workshop was a chaotic symphony of wires, batteries, and prototypes. He invented electric motors, a portable telegraph, even an early endoscope, a medical device decades ahead of its time. But the electric jewelry lamp was his most public triumph, a creation that captured the imagination of Paris. Yet Trouvé's life was far from glamorous. He worked alone, often late into the night, fueled by coffee and determination. Unlike Edison, who built a media empire around his inventions, Trouvé was reserved, almost reclusive. He lacked the charisma or business savvy to promote his work, and his patents rarely translated into wealth. Financial struggles plagued him, as did the physical toll of his relentless pace. By the 1890s, his health was failing, worn down by years of overwork and stress. The emotional weight of his story is heavy. Imagine pouring your soul into creations that change the world, only to watch others bask in the spotlight. Trouvé's obscurity wasn't just a matter of personality. The electrical industry was becoming a battleground, dominated by giants like Edison and Westinghouse. These titans had the resources to mass-produce and market their inventions, while Trouvé's bespoke creations, like the electric jewelry lamp, were too niche to compete. Yet he never stopped inventing, driven by a pure love of discovery. As a scientist, I feel a deep connection to Trouvé's quiet resilience. His story reminds us that genius doesn't always shout. It often whispers, waiting for someone to listen. Every invention has its moment, a brief flare of brilliance before the world moves on. Gustave Trouvé's electric jewelry lamp burned brightly, but why did it fade so quickly? As a scientist, I've seen how history can be unkind to even the most revolutionary ideas. The decline of Trouvé's creation is a story of technology, culture, and economics, a reminder that brilliance alone isn't enough to endure. The first challenge was technological. The electric jewelry lamp was a marvel, but it was also a product of its time. The zinc-carbon batteries, while groundbreaking, were heavy and required frequent recharging. A single performance at the Paris Opera might drain them, forcing performers to carry spares or pause for maintenance. In the 1880s, batteries were still a crude technology, far from the sleek lithium-ion cells we take for granted today. As electric lighting evolved, stationary lamps, powered by centralized grids, became more practical. Chandeliers and arc lights could illuminate entire rooms, outshining the delicate glow of Trouvé's wearable lamps. Culturally, the Belle Époque was a fleeting moment. By the 1890s, Paris was shifting toward new aesthetic movements like Art Nouveau, with its flowing lines and organic forms. The electric jewelry lamp, once the height of fashion, began to feel like a relic of an earlier era. Its novelty wore off as electricity became commonplace, no longer a spectacle, but a utility. Fashion moved on, embracing new materials and styles that didn't require batteries or wires. The emotional weight of this shift is poignant. Imagine creating something that defines an era, only to watch it fade as tastes change. Economically, the lamps were a luxury. Crafting each one was labor-intensive, requiring skilled artisans to shape the decorative housings and engineers to assemble the electrical components. This made them expensive, accessible only to the wealthy elite. Meanwhile, competitors like Edison were flooding the market with affordable mass-produced bulbs, making electric light a household staple. Trouvé's lamps, though beautiful astro, couldn't compete with the scale and efficiency of industrial production. The story of the electric jewelry lamp is a bittersweet lesson in the fragility of innovation. Trouvé's creation was a victim of timing, caught between a world not yet ready for portable power and an industry racing toward mass production. As a scientist, I feel the sting of this loss. Trouvé's vision was extraordinary, but the world wasn't ready to sustain it. His lamps may have dimmed, but their brilliance lingers in the story of a man who dared to dream. Fast forward to 2025, and Gustave Trouvé's electric jewelry lamp feels like a vision from the future. As a scientist, I'm amazed by how his work resonates with our modern world. Wearable technology is everywhere. Smartwatches, fitness trackers, even LED-lit clothing that pulses with light. Trouvé was a pioneer, a man who saw the potential of portable, beautiful technology long before it became reality. So why are we only now rediscovering his genius? In recent years, historians, engineers, and artists have begun to unearth Trouvé's contributions. His electric jewelry lamp has inspired a new generation of designers, from fashion houses creating illuminated gowns to tech startups developing wearable LEDs. At music festivals and cosplay events, glowing accessories echo Trouvé's vision, blending style with technology. His work also laid the groundwork for portable power, influencing devices like medical implants and wireless earbuds. The concept of a compact, wearable power source, once revolutionary, is now a cornerstone of modern life. But Trouvé's legacy is more than technical. It's a story of resilience and vision. He reminds us that innovation isn't always about fame or fortune. It's about pushing boundaries, even when the world isn't watching. As a scientist, I feel a duty to amplify these stories, to ensure that pioneers like Trouvé aren't forgotten. His electric jewelry lamp was a spark of genius, a reminder that technology can be as beautiful as it is functional. Today, designers and engineers carry his torch, creating devices that blend form and function in ways he could only imagine. The emotional resonance of Trouvé's story lies in its universality. Who among us hasn't felt overlooked, striving to make a mark in a world that moves too fast? His life is a call to celebrate the unsung heroes, to seek out the quiet geniuses whose ideas shape our lives. Imagine Trouvé in today's world, tinkering with microchips and OLEDs. What wonders would he create? His story inspires us to look forward, to dream of a future where technology and beauty are one. As we close this journey through Gustave Trouvé's world, I'm filled with a sense of wonder and a challenge. This quiet genius, who lit up the stages of Paris with his electric jewelry lamp, deserves a place in our collective memory. His story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity, a reminder that even the smallest spark can change the world. But how many other Trouvés are out there, their inventions buried in the dust of history? Trouvé's electric jewelry lamp was more than a device. It was a vision of a world where technology enhances beauty, where science and art dance together. As a scientist, I've spent 15 years uncovering stories like his, and each one feels like a treasure unearthed. The Belle Époque may be gone, but its spirit lives on in every glowing gadget, every fusion of form and function. Trouvé's life reminds us to honor the dreamers, the tinkerers, the ones who dare to imagine what others cannot. So what's next? Let's keep digging, keep shining a light on the forgotten. The world is full of stories waiting to be told, of inventors whose sparks still glow in the shadows. Join me in this mission to celebrate the obscure, to make their voices heard. The future is bright, but only if we remember the past. Did Trouvé's story light a fire in you? Smash that like button, share this tale with your friends, and subscribe to Obscure Minds for more stories of forgotten geniuses. Drop a comment below. Who's the next unsung inventor you want us to uncover? Let's make history go viral together.